Hello, this is Athena Jezik, and today I'm going to show you just the low back. Some techniques on the low back from probably T12, T10, T11, and the entire 5 lumbar regions. So I'm going to just apply the oil here. This area of the back takes a lot of stress, a lot of pain. There's a lot of things that can go kind of haywire with it, particularly if it gets out of alignment from faulty posture. You know, the cervical spine goes about to this bump here. I'll just explain where the spine is in case you're not familiar. The bump is like C7. The thoracic vertebrae will start there, and it goes down about to here. There's 12 of them, and the ribs intervene with them. It's right in this area. So anything above would be like 10, 9, 10, 8, you know. It's kind of hard to tell. You just have to know the general location. And then you start with the lumbar vertebrae, and that's going down into the sacrum. The sacrum is about right here where it begins. So right here is about L5. L5 and S1, which is the sacrum, this area gives a lot of problems, and in the other lower lumbar region. So that's a point that you're going to need to keep well stretched and make sure that you don't put a lot of misalignment into the structure on that. When we don't exercise the abdominal muscles, what happens is that they become more relaxed and weakened, and then the back will tend to kind of bow inward like an arch, and that will create some pain, especially in some disc areas and all of that. So it's important to keep those strong abdominal muscles going. Right now I'm just going along this lumbar part while I'm explaining some things to you. And so the whole structure does need to be strong with muscles, because that's what holds the spine in place. And when you lose muscle mass, it's hard to get back. And if you atrophy a muscle too far, it really, some say that doesn't come back at all. I think you can get a partial part of it back. I guess I'll be an example, because I'm going to see how much of my muscle mass I get back after what I've just been through. So, and going across the back the way I'm doing is you can feel the muscles begin to relax all the way across. And you can get kind of a landscape of if there's too much arch in the back or anything like that. Now, oftentimes too, what I've noticed is when we sit, we're going to sit a little crooked perhaps, cross our legs, do anything like that, but we get into a muscle memory pattern. And what oftentimes happens in sciatica is that the L5S1 gets out of alignment, and so the sacrum takes a whole different position. And when it takes a different position, it's going to put pressure, oftentimes, more often than not, on the sciatic nerve. So at first the pain just comes about where the sciatic nerve comes out of where it starts to show itself, where it's going through structures, and then as it continues, it'll work its way down the leg. More often than not, unless there's some serious disc issues going on as well, the sciatica can be remedied very easy by repositioning the sacrum. And that is something that I do teach in my course, and it's amazing because I see a lot of people in that situation. And the thing about it is, once they get out of sciatic pain, it pretty much holds because the body's corrected itself, and then I don't have to see them more than maybe once or twice or 3 times, depending on the personal situation, how long they've had it. Okay, now I'm going to just do a little bit of drawing down the vertebrae with my thumbs, and I'm on each side of the vertebrae. Let me see, I got to position myself a little different. Coming down this way. And you want to stay right close to the vertebrae. Now here's where the sacrum is, so I'm going to be moving my thumbs out into the hip crest. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to start up about, the thorax is about there, the very bottom part of the thoracic vertebrae. And allow this to go down to the sacrum. You can feel it kind of like is a gate that's going to stop you from going any further. And you'll feel that in your thumbs, and then you can just glide it to the side. And then you can also go each side, pushing that muscle outward. Same thing over here. Giving a nice stretch. Now down in this area, the muscles are pretty large and they do a lot of work, so you don't want to do like deep, forceful work, but you will find yourself being much more firm. Still light, but firm. And then you can pull the muscles up this way. It's kind of a wrapping feeling. And then you can do it the same thing on the other side, where your hands will work a little bit differently here because your fingers will be on top, but you can still wrap it. And what I think is nice is in here, just to work quite a bit into this area, because this oftentimes too, because of positioning, and there's attachments from the lower extremities in here, there's attachments from the upper extremities, so it's kind of a junction. But to really get into where the L5S1 are coming together. After a while, if you get the hands trained, you'll be able to feel if the sacrum is out of alignment. And then if you have an advanced skill set, you can know what to do with that to alleviate the direction that it's going, which would be an abnormal alignment pattern. And I'm just pushing up a little bit here. And I'm going to ride this up. Again, just up a little bit. Again, doing one vertebrae at a time. Up to about there, where the kind of where the trapezius is ending. And then going in between these vertebrae. The vertebrae gets a little bit bigger as well when you get down to the lumbar. So you can already see, here's the space between there, and here's the space between there. So you can see that there's a little bit different size. You don't really want to rub on the vertebrae with any kind of pressure, but you do want to go in between. It feels very good. It stimulates some of the nerve dural sleeves that come out in that kind of that direction. The discs may get a little bit of action as well. And then doing some kneading. Or this is going to be eflourage, whatever. And on either side as well. Go a little bit farther down into the hip area. Grab along the hip crest and the waistline up, and then repeat in the middle there where you're kneading a little bit, and then along the vertebrae, either side, just spreading and pulling in. You can feel the erector spinae muscle, the edge of that. You want to go to the edge of that, and then a little bit to the side, same thing. The thumbs are coming up into the fingers, so it sort of looks like a little pinching action, but and then down to the side where the waistline is, just above the hips, and then going down a little bit more, and then back to the center of this side. And then doing along the erector spinae edges and pulling that in. And then spreading just over the erector spinae. And you can feel a lot more softness. And there's the ribs. Here's the ribs right here. If you go down the middle of the spine, stay soft, very soft with that. And again into the sacral, L5S1 area. And then you can wrap. That's a good way to end, and wrap the other side. And then this is kind of like unwrapping, pushing it downward, or wrapping to the front. And same thing here, unwrapping to the front. It's sometimes easier to go to each side of the table at first, but after a while your hands will learn how to adjust themselves and get the same kind of work done on either side. And then just a little pulling upward with the palm of the hand and the fingers. And same there. And there you have it. Just another little stretch. And up we go. And there's some little bit more detailed work on the lower back for you. So I want to say thank you so much for viewing. I hope this also relaxed you out. So I want you to understand that there's a lot of things that can go on with the back because the issues are much more than just muscle tension. And I would like to invite you all to join the course. There's going to be a lot of detailed work in the course if you're called into this direction, because you do want to have a expanded skill set if you're going to really help people at the level that they're at. And people are in a lot of pain these days. So I just wanted to mention that, and I wanted to say thank you for viewing. I enjoy your viewership, and I enjoy your comments, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. I want to invite you to explore my course, The Foundations of Subtle Alignment. It is going to take you beyond the work of massage therapy. It will take you into the world of the subtle anatomy. In this course, you will learn about the subtle anatomy and a protocol for assessing and aligning the subtle structures. Misalignment of the subtle structures is often the root cause of chronic pain, injuries, and chronically high levels of stress hormones. These techniques offer profound benefit whether you are working on people with complex issues or not.